Hello, everybody. This is Dr. Jennifer Taylor, and welcome to today's tutorial where we'll be talking about transforming SPSS output into Excel charts. And I'm going to show you how to transform SPSS frequency table output for nominal, multiple response nominal, ordinal, and interval data into Excel charts for your data presentations. So let's begin. The first thing I'd like to do is have you download the SPSS Pets and More output that I have provided. And I've provided this either in your LMS system, either Blackboard or Canvas, in the tutorial content folder, or I also have a link in the YouTube description box below where you can access the output. And if you open that output up, you'll be able to work along with me step by step. You'll also need Excel for today's tutorial. So the SPSS output and Excel. So go ahead and open those two files up now and let's get started. Okay, and when you open up your SPSS output file, this is what it should look like. You should have a case summary, your frequencies for ethnicity, which is the multiple response nominal variable, and then you should have a series of nominal variables, nom1, nom3, and then another set of statistics, and you'll have your ordinal variables, followed by another statistics table and your interval variables. So we're going to start today learning how to create charts for multiple response nominal variables. And so we have our SPSS output file. And what you're going to do first is we're going to start with this multiple response nominal chart that you created. If you're not sure how to create this chart, I strongly recommend that you review my video on how to analyze multiple response nominal data. It'll show you how to create this chart. But let me teach you here how to use this chart to how to transform it into an SPSS chart. So the first thing we're going to do is double check the frequency chart, and that is going to open up this file. And in this file, this is the editor file. And so the first thing we want to do is sort this data from largest to smallest. So we have the nominal variable categories that were chosen. And we want to put this in order. As you'll see, the second largest category is at the bottom, and we want this to be in order. So what you do is you highlight the frequencies for the categories. Make sure you do not include the total, otherwise things will not work properly. And then I want you to right-click, click on Sort Rows, and we're going to do descending. So click on descending, and you'll see that that puts all these categories in order, in descending order. Okay, so now another thing you can do here is you can also clean up your category charts. As you'll see, for each one of these categories, the nominal, the variable name and the question were included, as well as the response category. And we just want response categories. So if you go ahead and double click on that, it'll open it up. And what we want to do is delete everything except for the response. And this variable is ethnicity. So the first ethnicity was white. Double click on this, and it's Hispanic for this sample. And then we can clean this up And then we have Black and African or African American. And I'm going to leave the next three so I can show you how to clean these up in Excel if you forget to do it here. But then what you're going to go ahead and do after we've cleaned that up is just X out of this window. So hit that little X box to close it. And you should be back in the output window, the main output window, and you should see this frequency chart. It should be in order. It should be cleaned up where you cleaned it up. Now, what I want you to do is click on it and then Control C, or you can right click and do a copy. And then I want you to open your Excel file. So in your Excel file, you are going to click on destination cell, and you are going to right click, and you are going to do, if you hit this first paste one or you do Control C, you're going to get this kind of hodgepodge. You want this simple version, which is match destination formatting. Click the match destination formatting. And you have your frequency chart now in Excel. And as you can see, we have our 3 ethnicities that have been cleaned up, but we still have 3 that have not. So if you double click on the cell, you can go into it. You can just delete and clean the last ones up. All right. And now that you have cleaned it up, create the chart. And so we are going to highlight categories, and then we're going to hit Control, and we are going to highlight our percent of cases. And I did forget to mention that our sample size, if we go back over to the SPSS output, is 119. There were 119 people who answered this question in the survey, and there were 158 unique answers. So this was a check all that apply question, so people could check multiple answers. And that's why we get 158. And so this percentage line is 72 divided by 158, which gives 45.6. 30 divided by 158, which gives 17.7. So that gives the percentage of all the responses. But I'm curious how many of our 119 respondents, just put that up there for notation's sake. How many of those 119 respondents are white? How many are Hispanic? How many are Black or African American? How many have self-selected as American or Indian or Alaska Native? And so percent of cases gives us that number. So 119 is the number of cases. And so 72 of the 119 equals 60.5. 30 of the 119 cases equals 25.20, so on and so forth. So in our chart, we want to use percent of cases. So highlight those categories, Control, highlight the percent of cases. Oops. And then I want you to go up to Insert. So we're going to insert. You're going to click on this icon for the bar chart. And this says Insert Column or Bar Chart. Click on that. You're either going to use a 2D column or 2D bar. Typically, 2D columns are used for fewer categories, but when you have a lot of categories, a 2D column often works better. You do, however, I need you to notice that the largest category is at the bottom with a 2D bar chart. So a lot of times you want to resort it into ascending order so that the largest group is at the top and the smallest is at the bottom for the bar. But if you do the column, it is descending, and then it'll give you the largest on the left side and the smallest on the right side. So we're going to use a 2D column. And we want our chart title to be our question name. So I don't have that here, but I'm going to go back into this data. And I'm going to copy that question name. And then I'm going to make that the chart title. As you'll notice, if you look at a lot of other presentations, most presentations do not include these access labels, nor do they include the access lines. So you can go ahead and delete the access labels by clicking on it and then just hitting delete. And then you can delete the access lines by double clicking on the lines so that they get that the little blue highlight marks, and then just click delete. Now that's great, but this bar chart now doesn't really tell you anything. So click on the bars, make sure they're all highlighted. You should see that each of them are highlighted, and then right click and go to add data labels. And now you'll find that each of the data bars, each of the bars have data labels that tell you the exact percent. And that is all you need to do for creating a multiple response nominal variable chart from SPSS output. The one last thing you do need to do if you're in my class is double click on this sheet 1 and rename it to your variable. And this was nom2. Rename it your variable name. And then click a new sheet, and we'll go on and move on to nominal variables. Now, the nominal variables are analyzed just a little bit differently, which means that to create a chart, you have to do a couple extra steps. So let's go back into our SPSS output. In order to do that, I got to X out. Okay. Okay, and we are going to scroll down to the nominal variables. You'll see nom1 and nom2. You'll notice they both have 119 and then no missing data. What the mode was a 1 and a 2. So for nom1, you're just going to go in here and double click it, because the first thing we want to do is we want to order these from largest to smallest. So we want to order the categories, because remember, with nominal variables, there is no ranking. One category is not better than the other, so we can go and just rank them based on the frequency. So how do we do this? Well, we highlight the frequencies. So just highlight those, and then we're going to right click, and we're going to go to sort rows. And we're going to go descending, so it's largest to smallest. And now you'll see it's reordered everything based on ascending order. So we've now done that. We can click out of this window. You'll notice that it has changed the frequency chart, or sorry, the frequency table on your SPSS output. Now you're going to click on it and Control C or right click, go to copy, and then go to your Excel file. And in your Excel file, find a block where you want to start, the cell you want to start, hit Control V. And if you hit Control V, you're going to end up with the kind of the hodgepodge one. But if you go and you right click, so you right click and you do paste and you do match destination formatting, you'll get the tidy version. So we'll open these up. Now, one of the problems and why we have extra steps with nominal variables is that as you look at the percentages, you will notice that they are not formatted in percentage format. Now, this is the percentage numbers, but if you try to get a percent sign at the end, where, for example, you highlight it and you go into Excel and you hit that percent sign, it does not see it as a percent. So you get this really large percentage. So we need to create a new percentage column. And so what we do is we're going to click on this column. We're going to right click. We're going to go insert. And made it pretty large, so I'm going to make it a little smaller. And so, as you remember, we have 119 respondents. So we're going to create a formula equal, and then we're going to take this frequency number and we're going to divide it by 119. Or you can use this cell number, so 119, or you can use the cell number, but if you use the cell number, make sure you put a $sign in between so that when you copy it, that number will stay static. We're going to turn this into a percent. We're going to use this and bring it out 1 decimal place, and then we're going to copy it. All right, so just to show you that one more time, I'm going to delete all that. Okay, we added the column. We're going to hit equal. We're going to take the frequency. We're going to do divide. I'm going to do by 119 this time. Hit enter. I'm going to click the cell, hit the percent sign, go over 1 decimal place, and then take the corner of this box and pull it down, and it'll copy that formula into all of them. So now we have what we need to be able to create our chart. So now what we're going to do is we're going to highlight the categories and this new frequency percent that you created. And then we are going to go to insert. We are going to go to our bar chart. We're going to do a 2D column. I'm going to hit connect. We're going to take our question name. What was your primary reason for visiting Pets and More today? And we're going to make that our chart title. Then we're going to go, and we don't want these access labels. We're going to highlight it. We're going to delete. We don't want these lines. We're going to highlight the lines, click delete. And we need to make sure we add these, the labels, the data labels. So click on a bar and make sure that they're all highlighted. And then right click, add data labels. And the last thing we want to do is rename the worksheet. This one is NOM1. That's our variable name. Rename it to your variable name. And then you have your chart for your second variable. All right, so let's go back to our output and we will talk about ordinal or interval variables. So it's the same for ordinal or interval variables. So let's take a look. We have this pretty big ordinal variable. Again, we're looking at 119 respondents. There's no missing answers. We have our medians and modes, but we want to copy and paste our frequency chart. So we can either right click and hit copy. We can hit Control C, but we are going to copy that and then go back into our Excel file, hit this little plus button so that we open a new worksheet, find our cell, our starting cell, and then right click and let's do match destination formatting. And so we have our neat and tidy copy and paste that have happened. And the next thing we want to do is clean up our frequency table if we need to. So all of our categories are fine. Again, the same thing with the nominal variable. We don't have our percent signs, which we need for our chart. So we have to go in, we have to right click, we have to insert a column. And because this is ordinal or interval data, they are ranked. So one category is more important or better than another. So we don't want to change the order at all. And we just want to create the formulas. So we're going to do equal. And same as before, it's the frequency. And it's divided by that total sample, which is 119. And then you want to change it into a percent, take it out one decimal place. You can also do equal the frequency divided by this total category. You want to make sure you put a $sign in there if you want to copy and paste it. We're going to turn it to percent, take it out one decimal place, and drag it down. And then this should equal 100. So if you want to just double check, equal sum. And so this is a sum and it should equal these numbers here and here if you don't have any missing variables. If you have missing variables, then this valid percent is going to be different because percent would include another column that's missing variables, and the percent number would be including those missing variables, and valid percent would not include the missing answers. All right, so we now have our two columns. Let's turn it into a chart. We're going to highlight both of these columns. Make sure you do not include that total number. Go to Insert. Go to your Insert Column or Bar Chart. Let's take a look. This is pretty big. So I think I'm going to do the 2D bar chart. I'm going to take my question and make sure it's just your question. Don't include that variable name. That's not going to mean anything to the client. And then let's highlight these access labels, delete them. Let's highlight these grid lines. And then delete, hit delete. And then we want data labels. So highlight your bars, right click, add your data labels. And now you've created a chart. Now, if you did all that and say you weren't excited about this bar chart, you could always go back change it to a 2D column. Make sure it's highlighted. Insert. And then you could change it back and forth. Just make sure that it's highlighted and see which one you like best. But that is how you analyze, how you create charts from your SPSS output. So that's it for today's tutorial. And please click like if this video was helpful, and don't forget to subscribe. If you'd like to learn how to analyze nominal, ordinal, interval, or ratio data, please check out one of my other videos on my data analysis playlist. But other than that, I hope you have a fabulous day. Thank you very much. Bye-bye.